The High School Sports Beat is brought to you by Alfred State College, where within 6 months of graduating, an astonishing 99% are working or furthering their studies. At Alfred State, they stress project-based learning, where students work on real-world problems and learn how to think, not what to think. Visit alfredstate.edu.
Sports. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's how we roll. It's wins and losses, highs and lows. It's effort, respect, and dedication. The High School Sports Beat. Sports. It's who we are.
Hello everyone and welcome to the High School Sports Beat brought to you by Alfred State College. I am Dave Yates. We begin our look at Section 5 sports with our opening story brought to you by Sticky Lips BBQ and Juke Joint. Sticky Lips Barbecue Juke Joint, New York State's largest barbecue restaurant right here in Rochester. See our menu and live music calendar at StickyLipsBBQ.com. Sticky Lips BBQ, Jefferson Road in Henrietta. We begin this week with a look back at one of the outdoor track season's best events, the Glavin races in Hilton. Featuring the area's top long-distance runners, we were there 5 years ago to witness a special family moment as Donovan Glavin ran in the race named for his father for the first time. From May of 2014, here's Bill Pucko.
As far as local track and field meets go, the Hilton Cadet Classic has carved itself out a real niche. The Saturday Showcase is a primetime event. The pole vault pits constructed front and center on the field immediately in front of the grandstand.
Volunteers,
and then there's the Glavin. The Glavin is the premier in-season long-distance event in Section 5. Named in honor of the former McQuaid and Rutgers University distance star Peter Glavin, who's also the founder of the Genesee Valley Harrier Running Club. Glavin died 4 years ago at the age of 48. This year, his son, Donovan, a sophomore at McQuaid, ran in his first Glavin. What was the experience of running this race like for you?
It was very emotional. Like when they were about to call my name, I almost started crying. It was just so surreal, just racing in a race named after you or your dad.
The boys run 3,200 meters, and the 2014 race attracted a field of 39 participants. This was supposed to be a showcase for the great Mickey Burke of Rush Henrietta. The field remained tightly packed throughout most of the race, with Burke in the lead. But with the event about half over, Burke pulled out, retiring to the infield with a tweaked groin, the result of a week-old injury. That left Irondequoit's Josh Durland in the lead. Well, look, you were closest to Mickey when he dropped out. What was going through your mind?
I don't know. It kind of threw me off a little bit, but I know he's been injured, so I just kind of, wasn't quite sure what was going on for a minute, and then just figured keep going, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh my goodness, at that point, I could win this thing, right?
Yeah, actually. I was kind of bummed I had to fight the win and everything by myself, but, once I realized I could win, that was a nice motivation.
The Glavin was claimed by Corning senior John McCarthy, who pulled away with a great late kick. Durland, the 5th seed, finished second. In the middle of the pack, Donovan Glavin tied his personal best at the distance in 10:10. Dad would have been proud.
I just compare my times to him when he was younger, my age and stuff. So that's about it.
How are you doing in that comparison so far?
I feel like I'm ahead of him. I know last year I was ahead of him. I just haven't really checked this year that much. I usually wait till the end of the year, but I know I definitely beat him in cross country for the McQuaid invite, so that's good.
Well, Jason, he had a great career, so that means you're going to have a great career.
That's what I hope.
The girls' race saw Penfield's Katie Lembo return to form after being beaten by Rush Henrietta's Alex Cooper at the His and Her the week before.
Last week, I was just I'll run at the invite because it's my team's, my school's invite. But because I just got in the day before, and this week I'm okay, now it's my chance to win it. I'm a senior, so.
Lembo pulled away from another giant field of 33 runners and appeared poised for a championship finish. Katie held a big lead into the final lap of the 3,000 meters when Corning freshman Jessica Lawson kicked it into high gear for the stretch run. You didn't know she was closing on you at the end there, did you?
No, I didn't. I couldn't hear anything over the speakers and people cheering and everything, so I was just trying to kick it in as hard as I could.
When you realized how close it was, like how surprised were you?
I was surprised. I was like, oh, I don't even know if I won. Like, I think she might have leaned like farther than me.
Lembo beat Lawson by less than a fifth of a second. Winning the Glavin something special?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I've been running it since I was like really young, in like 8th grade or 9th grade, and I've come really close to winning it, and winning it this year was special.
In a very close race, our winner, Katie Lembo from Penfield, with a time of 9:57.83.
Donovan runs for Canisius now, Mickey Burke ran for Syracuse, and Katie Lembo went on to run at Providence. Well, coming up next, Paul Gotham joins us for the Duncan High School Notebook. We'll have that and more when the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College, continues.
Make a Dunkin' run for a $2 pick-me-up and avoid the afternoon drag.
Should have got one for John.
Yeah. Sorry, John. It's okay.
Get a $2 medium cold brew from 2 to 6 p.m. Try it a new delicious chocolate cherry. America runs on Dunkin'.
Hello and welcome back to the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College. I am Dave Yates. It is time now for the High School Notebook, brought to you by Duncan. America runs on Duncan. And as always, every week at this time, we are joined by Paul Gotham from PickandSplinters.com. Paul, things are really heating up on the baseball field right now, so it's a great time to go to that website.
Yeah, sure. We got full coverage of all local high school. We got some junior college and college coverage. MCC guys, a lot of local guys playing on the MCC team. And we also have the Rochester Red Wings, who will be hosting the Syracuse Mets, and Tim Tebow will be there for that.
Paul, early on, right out of the gate, some great matchups already.
It was great to go out to Evans Field and see Canandaigua, the New York State Final Four, Class A, match up with Fairport, a traditional power in this area. And you get down to one of those innings, and you have Cooper Krunick, who's going to SUNY Binghamton at first base, and you have Tyler Holmes behind the plate for Fairport. He's going to Hartford University in the fall. A pair of Division I commitments matching up. Cooper gets the stolen base on the play, but it wasn't because Tyler came up short. A little miscommunication between second and short. I was talking to Fairport coach Brian Reed after the game. They've timed Tyler pretty consistently with a 1.9 pop time, that time that it takes to get from the ball from his mitt to the mitt down at second base. And I wish I had a stopwatch for that moment, because I'm pretty sure he was on that. And Cooper still, that was Division I speed and Division I arm and technique, and it was great to watch that sort of play. And it's great because it's the opening week, opening day, really for everybody, and to be able to see that sort of matchup. We're going to see those matchups all season long. It's going to be great.
You talk about that. What is a good time for catcher to go from home to first?
Well, quite honestly, for high school, 2 or 2.1 would be pretty good. 1.9, that's pretty high level. When we go and we look at our, a guy like Pudge Rodriguez was 1.6. That's a Hall of Famer, and so you think about where Tyler is with that. Now, obviously, there are other factors that go into that. That was a pitch on the outside of the plate, so Tyler could set up on it pretty well. It wasn't like Pudge Rodriguez pulling a slider out of the dirt and throwing it 1-6. So, but nonetheless, it was great to see Tyler in that mode. Right. So it's certainly, and that just leads down, a couple days later, you go and see Gananda and Aquinas, and it's Tim McClare, who's going to be at Canisius next year, against Tyler Zukowski. Tyler's only a sophomore, and everybody knows him on the football field. Tyler throws almost 5 innings with 1 earned run.
Pleasure to have you here. We are back with more of the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College, right after this. Coming up next, the Making the Grade nominee with Kyle O'Gara, and later, carrying on a family tradition at HFL. We'll have that story when the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College, continues.
Welcome back, and thank you for watching the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College. Hit the ground running at alfredstate.edu. I'm Kyle O'Gara.
Making the grade this week is Honeyway Falls senior Jake Fusare. Unlike most high school athletes, Jake was a member of 2 teams for 2 different schools. While Jake is a student at Honeyway Falls and plays on the varsity baseball team there, he also played varsity volleyball for Penfield High School after the 2 schools merged. Jake was a member of the Penfield volleyball squad that won the New York State Championship in 2017 and became a captain of the team in 2018. On top of his athletic accomplishments, Jake maintains a high honor roll average of 98.5. as a member of the National Honor Society. This week, Jake Fusare is making the grade.
If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. Send them into info@classywolf.com. And now here's Dave with the McArdle Section 5 Spotlight.
Well, thanks, Kyle. Here are some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in this week's Section 5 Spotlight, brought to you by McArdle's in Fairport. Come home to McArdle's. Congrats to Hilton Lacrosse senior Sean Dorn. He set the cadets' all-time career ground ball record with 15 in a game versus Spencerport to give him 380 overall, passing a mark Harold Juergens set in 2014. Brighton boys lacrosse is off to a great start, beating Penfield 12-8 for only their 2nd win ever versus the Patriots, and the Barons beat Christian Brothers Academy in double overtime 12-11. And finally, Victor grad T.D. Ireland begins his junior season now at Yale after transferring from Albany. Named to the Inside Lacrosse Midseason All-American team, and in a 28-win over Dartmouth, won 23 of 24 faceoffs. Well, coming up next, Ben Sousa leads the Cougars on the diamond with a little help from his grandfather. Well, that story when the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College, continues.
And now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Welcome back, and thanks once again for joining us on the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College. I'm Dave Yates. This segment is brought to you by the Injury Free Coalition and our friends at Leo's Bakery and Deli. Please remember to always wear your seatbelt in the front and back seats, and to focus only on driving when behind the wheel of a car. This message courtesy of the Injury Free Coalition for Kids Smart Teen Driving Program and our friends at Leo's Bakery and Deli. Legendary coach Ed Niatowski retired in 2004 after amassing over 530 wins in basketball and over 700 in baseball. His name adorns the basketball court at Bishop Kearney. His players knew how to play the game the right way. And so does his grandson, Ben Sousa. Here's Paul Gotham with a family tradition.
Taking the extra base on a missed cutoff. Being in position to back up a teammate. Providing vocal leadership. These are just some of the aspects of baseball that don't necessarily grab headlines. These characteristics and more can be used to describe HFL's Ben Sousa.
To be honest, the first time I met Ben when he was like an 8th grader, he had the same attributes, the type of kid that would, after a practice, would shake your hand and would do everything right in practice. And I've just watched him physically just get bigger and stronger and become a better player, but he had those right from the get-go.
If it appears these traits come naturally to the HFL senior, there's a reason. Sousa is the grandson of Section 5 Hall of Fame coach Ed Niatowski.
I always thought communication was a huge thing in baseball, and he taught me that. My especially my uncle. He was a catcher over at Virginia back in the day, and he always taught me just stay vocal, stay communicating with your fielders, and one step ahead of everything. Like know your situation, so when the play's out there, you know what to do. Just a lot of the mental aspect of the game. Baseball's a mental sport, and I get in my head a lot. I beat myself up sometimes, but he always taught me just like keep a smile on your face. I always think about that, like go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, and I think, okay, just get the next one. Baseball, it's a funny game, a new day every day. So it's helped me become a stronger baseball player in that aspect, just the mental, don't beat yourself up, because if you beat yourself up, you're gonna struggle. And if you bounce back, awesome. But you're gonna have your slumps. You're gonna have those high moments where you're gonna be hitting everything. But that's just baseball.
Ed Natopsky won sectional titles with Cardinal Mooney in 1980 and 82, and with Bishop Kearney in 1997. He retired with 705 career wins, tops in Section 5 up to that point. That's not counting the 545 basketball games he won, including 7 more sectional titles on the hardwood. Former Bishop Kearney coach and current staff member Carm Urzetta went from being Natopsky's rival to his ally.
Ed and I go way back. When Ed was coaching at Cardinal Mooney and I was coaching here at Bishop Kearney, Ed's teams were so fundamentally sound. And it doesn't surprise me that his grandson would have the same kind of fundamentals, because Ed's teams were difficult to beat because they never beat themselves. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Ed Natopsky and what he's done for the school and the young people that he's influenced over the years, not only here at at Kearney, but also at Mooney and his years at Brockport. Just a wonderful man, and I hope he stays around as long as he can.
More than a decade has passed since Ed Natopsky roamed the sidelines as a head coach. Time has not diminished his influence.
Well, his impact is just phenomenal. He was, I think, the best baseball coach that's ever come out of Section 5. And again, it was because of the kind of teams he had and the way he treated his players, and his players performed on the field. His impact on Kearney baseball following me when I got out continued, over the years. And Ed is an idol for, I think, a lot of young coaches. They should try to emulate the kind of coach that Ed was. Just a marvelous man and a very close friend.
His impact is enormous. And anyone who's played, I went to Brockport High School and I played against him when he was coaching, and I've never been fortunate enough to coach against him, but when Ralph Clapp was that coach here, I used to come out to the games when Coach Natopsky would be here, because I was looking at 2 legends. Both of them are legends of baseball, and Coach Natopsky is something that we all aspire to be like, and I'm just fortunate to have his 2 grandsons.
Grandson has taken plenty from his grandfather.
It's awesome. I watch him. He'll be mentoring just other kids. I remember a couple years ago, I think it was Corey Canton from Odyssey, and he just went over and just gave him a couple pointers, and just he does it all the time, and people recognize him all the time, and it's awesome to see that the impact that he's had on the community, and how many people he's impacted in the Rochester area. So I know I just kind of look up to him. He's my role model, my biggest role model, and I aspire to be like them. I get a lot of my playing style from him. So yeah, it's been pretty cool watching that growing up, just seeing all those people who know him, all those people that he's touched in his life, and it's all coming together.
Ben's younger brother, John, moved up to varsity this season.
They're both amazing young kids, and they know the game, and they do everything right. They're a coach's dream. Anyone who coaches would love to have both those kids.
Well, I mean, he's changed a lot of people, helping them further their career in, college baseball, minors, majors, whatever.
It may come as a surprise that Ben Sousa's first choice was not baseball.
Do you ever remember a time when you didn't play baseball? Let's put it.
I actually started out on the evil side. I played lacrosse when I was a little younger.
Oh, wow.
But coming from a baseball family, with my grandfather, and I was my parents were let's sign him up for baseball, see how he likes it. And my grandpa's been my mentor all the way through, and I fell in love with this sport really quick. And this is my passion, this is my hobby. So I take this really seriously. I'm excited to get out here today, and first game. Senior day or senior year, and I'm excited.
That didn't take too long to change.
It's been a long journey, but no more lacrosse. we got rid of that quick. I didn't like it, and baseball I instantly fell in love with. So,
was there ever any discussion with your grandfather or with your mother about how did you let him play lacrosse? How did you even let him?
I think he teases her about that every now and then. I don't really remember how he took it when we were younger, but yeah, I think it just kind of stuck knowing that baseball family. So.
From the Manor Baseball Field on the campus of Honeoye Falls Lima Central School District, this is Paul Gotham with the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, especially Alfred State College, for making the Sports Beat possible. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next week.